Hello everyone. So for the past 2-3 classes, we have been discussing about linear fractional transformations or LFTs. LFTs will help us to model an uncertain system in such a way that we can separate out what is known from what is unknown in a feedback-like connection and then bound the unknown values. Now, in addition to the uncertainty type, the way in which the uncertainty affects the plan is also important, because sometimes the uncertainty can appear as an additive factor. Sometimes it can appear as a multiplicative factor to the nominal plan. So in today's class, we are going to discuss such uncertainties, unstructured uncertainties, how to convert them into corresponding upper LFTs. So a brief recap of what is an LFT? What is LFT? So we have separated out the perturbation. Okay, then we have the nominal plant, then we have the controller K. There are two outputs from the plant, which is nothing but one is the measured output Y, one is the regulated output Z. And there are two inputs to the plant, one coming from the perturbation and one coming from the controller. So the output signal from the controller and going to the plant is the control input U, and this is the exogenous input W. Okay. So now we are going to consider different kinds of unstructured uncertainties. Okay, the way in which they are affecting the system and how they can be converted into upper LFT forms. So if you consider the nominal plant and the block, then you get what is called upper LFT. Okay, so this is the upper LFT thing. This is the nominal plant. Okay, this is U, this is Y. Here is our delta. This is a regulated output, and this is exogenous input W. Okay, so we had seen that this y of s will be nothing but what FL of P comma delta into U of S. Okay, where FL of P comma delta, what is that? It's nothing but P22 plus P21 delta into I minus P11 delta whole inverse into P12. Okay, so this was our upper LFT form. Okay, now let us consider different cases. Suppose the uncertainty is appearing as an additive factor. Okay, we have an additive uncertainty. Additive uncertainty. Right? That means perturbation will appear as an additive factor like this. Say, this is my nominal plant model GM. Okay, the perturbation will appear as an additive factor like this here, delta of S. Plus. Okay, this is the Y. Right? Keep in mind, GM is the nominal model. What's my perturbed plant? It is GP of S. This is perturbed plant. Okay, the nominal plant model GM with the perturbation delta of S. GP is the perturbed plant. Perturbed plant. Okay. Now, how will you convert this into standard ULFT form? What we have to do? So you see, you just cut and break open the Z. Okay, what is Z here in the ULFT form? The signal going to the perturbation delta of S is the Z signal, regulated output. So that means first you need to identify what is Z. So this is my Z. Okay, coming out of Z is coming out delta is my W. Okay, that's the next step. You cut open the delta block. So that means this is my GM. This is the summing point. This is Y. This signal is Z, and this signal is W. Okay, now it's easy. What is Z? Z is nothing but same as U. And what is Y? Y is nothing but W plus GM into Z plus U. GM into the gm into u, right? W plus gm into u. Y is nothing but W plus gm into u. Okay. So in LFT form, I can write like this: is that y equal to something into W into u. Okay. So is that correspond to W we have 0, correspond to u we have I, correspond to W we have I, and correspond to u we have g. Okay. So this is now in the form is that W y is that bar y bar equal to what? Equal to P11, P12, P21, P22 into W bar U bar. So here W happens to be a scalar. Okay. W happens to be a scalar, right? That's why W happens to be a scalar, right? There's only one exogenous input here. Okay. So this is the upper LFT form for additive uncertainty. Fine. Now, coming down to inverse additive uncertainty. Inverse additive uncertainty. Okay. In inverse additive uncertainty, perturbation appears as an inverse factor like this. This is our nominal plan GM. This is our output Y. This is the input U, and this is our delta. Okay. So this will be our GP, the perturbed plant. GP is the perturbed plant. Okay. What next? We need to identify what is our Z and W. Okay. What is Z? Z is the input to the delta block. That means this is Z. And this is W. Okay. Now what next? Cutoff point. Okay. So this is our summing point. This is our GM, and here is our Y. So this signal is W, and this signal is Z. Okay. So what is Z now? Z is nothing but GM into U minus W. So GMU minus GMW. What is Y? Same as Z. That means GMU minus GM. So in matrix form, what do you write? Z W equals something into W U. So Z correspond to W we have minus GM. Correspond to U we have plus GM. From Y equation, correspond to W we have minus GM, and correspond to U we have plus GM. Okay. So in this way, we can represent inverse additive uncertainty. Now, how will you represent this in upper perturbation form? It is delta. Okay. And then here we have this thing minus GM, GM, minus GM, GM. Okay. This is U, this is Y. This is Z, this is W. Okay. So this has been now represented as LFT form. Fine. Next is input multiplicative perturbation. Input multiplicative perturbation. Okay, that means you can have a system like this. This is your nominal plant, and here's our perturbation. This is U, this is Y. Okay, so this will be our perturbed plant GP. Okay, so what to do next? We need to identify what is Z and what is W. So what is Z? Z is the input to the delta block. Okay, so this is Z, and output coming from delta is the external input W. What next? Cut open. So this is our model with delta block removed. So this is U, this is Z plus. This is Y. Okay, so what is Z? It's the same as U. And what is Y? GM into signal at this point. What is signal at this point? W plus U. So it becomes GM into U plus GM into W. So what will you get in LLFT, in ULFT form? Z and Y will be equal to what? Something into W U. Okay. So U term we have I, and corresponding to W we have 0. Similarly, Y from the Y equation corresponding to W we have a GM term, and corresponding to U we have another G. Okay. So this input multiplicative perturbation has been broken down to a standard upper LFT form. Okay. Next, output multiplicative perturbation. Output multiplicative perturbation. Okay. So it is something like this. This is the nominal band GM. Here is our summing point. This is our output Y. This is the delta block delta. It is coming at positive feedback. And this is our perturbed band G. Okay. This is U. Fine. As before, what to do? We need to identify our Z and W signals. Okay. What is Z? Going to delta block is the Z signal. Coming out of delta is W. Okay. In the next step, we need to cut open the delta block. So you will get this as GM. Then this is our summing point. This is Y. This is U. Here is our Z. This is W plus plus. So what is Z? Z is nothing but GM into U. Is it not? Z is nothing but GM into U. And what is Y? Y is nothing but W plus GM into U. W plus GM into U. Okay. So in matrix form, what do you get? Is that Y equal to some matrix into exogenous input W and U. So from this equation, corresponding to U we have a GM term, and corresponding to W we have 0. Then from the Y equation, corresponding to W we have IE, and corresponding to U we have a GM. Okay. So this way, output multiplicative perturbation can be represented as upper LFT form. Okay. The next one. Inverse input multiplicative perturbation. Inverse input multiplicative perturbation. So that means this will be the configuration. Here is our summing point. This is GM. This is Y. This is plus minus U. Okay. So this will be our perturbed plant. G. Okay. What do you mean by perturbed plant? Perturbed plant means the nominal plant model plus the deviations or the perturbations. Okay. So GM is the nominal plant model, and here the perturbation appears as an inverse input multiplicative factor. Okay. So what's the next step? We need to identify the regulated output and exogenous input. What is the regulated output? The one which goes to the perturbation block. So this is Z, and the signal coming out of the perturbation block is W. Okay. What next? Cut open the delta block. So you will get something like this. Y. So here is W, this is plus minus, and this is Z. Okay, this is U. So what is Z? It's a signal at this point. What is signal at this point? U minus W. And what is Y? GM into Z. So GM into Z, or that means GMU minus GMW. So what will be the upper left form representation? Z Y equals some matrix into W U. It's coming to Z equation. For U, we have corresponding to minus I. And W, sorry, U it is plus I. So for corresponding W it is minus I, and U it is plus I. Correct? And from the Y equation, corresponding to U we have plus GM. Sorry, corresponding to U we have plus GM, and corresponding to W we have a minus G. So minus GM plus G. Okay. So in this way, inverse input multiplicative perturbation has been represented as a standard upper LFT form. And finally, we have inverse output multiplicative perturbation. Inverse output multiplicative perturbation. Okay, so that means this will be the configuration. Nominal band GM, then we have a summing point. This is Y, this is U, this is plus, this is minus. Here is our delta note. Okay, so what will be the nominal plant? The nominal model plus the perturbation. This will be the perturbed plant model. So what's the next step? Identify what is Z and what is Y. What is Z? The input, the exogenous input going to the Z block. Exogenous regulated output going to the perturbation block. And what is W? W is the exogenous input to the plant. That means coming out of the perturbation block. So we have identified that. What next? Cut open the delta block. So we will get something like this. This is GM summing point Y plus. Okay. So it is coming at negative. This is Z and this is W. W and this is Z. Okay. So what is Z? Nothing but signal at this point. What is the signal at this point? GMU minus W. What is Y? Same as Z. That is GMU minus W. Okay. So what will you get in matrix form? ZY equals something into WU. Okay. So minus I GM. Why minus I? Because it's a MIMO system. Okay. Then correspond to Y, what do we have? Correspond to W, we have again minus I, and correspond to U, we have a plus G. Okay. So in this way, we have represented the different kinds of uncertainties, unstructured uncertainties that can appear in a plant in many ways. Okay. It may be additive, it may be multiplicative form, basically. Right. Now, yesterday when in one of the previous classes when I discussed LFT, I forgot to tell you another method, okay, of obtaining the upper LFT, right? So let me explain that. Upper LFT. This is a different way of obtaining that expression. Okay? So upper LFT means here is our perturbation block delta. This is our nominal plant model. Okay. So this is Y. This is U, this is Z, and this is W. Okay. So what are the equations? ZY equals P11, P12, P21, P22 into WU. Okay. So what did we get? What did you get if you expand this matrix? What do you get? Z bar equals P11W plus P12U. Y equals P21W plus P22U. And finally, what is W? W equals delta into Z. Okay. So what's our aim? Our aim is to find the transformation between Y and U. Okay. Our aim is to find the transformation between Y and U. Right? So this thing can be represented in a signal flow graph form. Okay. So you see there are, so in signal flow graph, nodes will represent the signals here. Okay. So W and U are the signal input signals. Z and Y are the output signals from the plant. Okay. Let me mark this thing. This is my W. This is U. Okay. There should be two outputs, Z and Y. Okay. Now what is Z? P11W. So there should be a branch from W11 at a gain of P11, P11W plus P12U. That means there should be a branch from U at a gain of P12. Okay, so is that equation is satisfied? What is Y? P21W. There should be a branch from W at a gain of P21. So that means this is P21W plus P22U, a branch from U at a gain of P22. Okay. And what is W? W is nothing but delta into Sm. Okay. So that means there should be a branch like this. Delta into Sm. Okay. So this gain was P11. Let me mark it here. This gain was P1. Okay. Now, do you remember what is signal flow graph? In signal flow graph, we can find the transfer function with the help of Mason's gain rule. What is Mason's gain rule? Say the overall transfer function, say T of S will be what? Nothing but 1 by delta into sigma K equals 1 to N Pk delta K. Okay. What is K? K is the number of forward paths. What is Pk? Pk is the gain of the kth path. Path gain of the kth forward path. What is delta? 1 minus sum of all individual gains plus sum of gain product of all possible combination of two non-touching loops, etc. Okay, and delta K means those delta that does not touch the first the path K. Okay, delta K means delta that does not touch path K. So let us write here these things. Okay, how many forward paths are there? What do you mean a forward path? Forward path means the branch starting from the input node and terminating at the output node without crossing a node more than once. Okay, so how many forward paths do we have? We have 2 forward paths. Which are they? So Y is the output here. Okay, don't forget that. So forward paths. Forward path gains. Okay, P1. What is that first forward path gain? P21. P21 from input between U and Y we are finding. Okay, so first one is P22. P11 is equal to P22. Okay, then what's the next forward path? From U to W, we have to move P12 delta P21. Okay, P12 delta P21. These are the 2 possible forward paths from the input node U to the output node Y. Now what next? We need to identify the loop gains. Okay, loop gains. How many loops do we have here? What do you mean by loop? Loop means a path which starts and ends at the same node. Okay, so here we have only one loop, which is that P11 delta. Okay, P11 delta is the only loop here. So I can write L1 as P11 delta. Okay, now what is delta 1? Delta 1 means 1 minus sum of all loop gains not touching first path. P22 is the first path. Do we have any loops not touching first path? Yes, this loop does not touch. So I can write 1 minus P11 delta. Okay, any other possible forward paths? No. Now, what is delta 2? 1 minus sum of all loop gains not touching second path. Which is the second path? P12 delta P21. So there are common nodes. For this loop, it has nodes in common with the second path. So it is just 1. Okay. So what will be the transfer function? Y by U? It will be 1. What is delta now? 1 minus sum of all loop gains. That means P11 delta. Okay. Now what is Y by U? 1 by delta. 1 by delta sigma K equals 1 to N Pk delta K. Okay. What is delta here? 1 by 1 minus P11 delta into Pk delta K. P11 into delta 1. That means P22 into 1 minus P11 delta. Then plus P22 delta 2. P2 delta 2. So P2 is P12 delta P21. Okay. So when you simplify this, what will you get? You will get this as P22 plus P12 delta into 1 minus P11 delta whole inverse P21. If it's the MIMO case, you will get this P22 plus P12 delta into 1 minus P11 delta P21. That's what we got here. Where was upper LFT? That's what we got here. P22 plus P21 delta into I minus P11 delta into P11 delta whole inverse into P12. Did I make a mistake? P12, P22 plus P21 delta into P12, huh? P12. P12. Okay. Did I make a mistake here? P22 into P1 delta plus P21 delta P21 delta P1. Okay. Okay. So in this way also you can derive LFT expressions. Okay. Similarly, you can try it for the lower LFT. Okay. So we'll stop here for the day. Thank you.